lanterns?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it looked good. Yeah, it looked really nice. Where's yours at?
Haven't gotten it yet. Wait.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, he changed platforms, so had to redo it.
Oh, yeah. I heard about that platform.
Yeah.
Mike, David Moore, Dallas Morning News. Knowing your love of talking about how you'll deploy personnel in the regular season, can you just talk a little bit about the running back room? We've talked about how it's by committee. Is there a lead back? Will it be more situational as far as how you approach it this year?
I think, David, really the biggest thing is, what's the definition of a committee? You want to play as a play caller. You want to be able to play, wide open at first, second, and third down, and you want it to flow. My definition of committee is it's a long year, and you want to be able to have distribution throughout that position because of the toll that it takes, on the running back, position. So, yeah. So we want to play in a flow. We don't want to necessarily, be in personnel groups that every time, this particular player runs in or this particular player runs in, after 3 or 4 weeks, you have major tendencies. So, yeah, we want to be able to utilize all those guys, but to stay in a normal flow.
We haven't talked to you since you've added Dalvin Cook to the practice squad. Just what you saw from him, and just can you envision him help? I guess obviously.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Dalvin's really somebody we've been there's been interest for quite some time. I obviously personally I'm a fan. I've seen him run down the sideline from the opposite side of the field too many times. So just he's just a hell of a player, and I think when you just look at our roster additions this year, we've added some veteran experience, more than we've had in the past, and he's a great example of it. I mean, he's just an excellent football player that's available, and we want to get him in here and make him part of it, and get to work.
Clarence Hill, All City, Dallas. You talked about adding veterans, including Dalvin Cook, and some of them had connection with Zimmer. How much did Zimmer's influence in the connections play a role in some of these decisions?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, anytime you're talking about any player, and Mike's, he's had a number of these guys. That's a positive. It's definitely a resource you got to tap into. But availability is number one. Two, it's got to work on both ends. But yes, Mike has been very. I mean, obviously we wouldn't probably brought any of these guys in if Mike didn't have a positive experience with them. I think that's common sense. But yes, I think all of our. I mean, you collect as much information as you possibly can. So there's a lot of relationships, networks that go on in this industry, and obviously with Mike being the head coach and having those guys, it's important.
Getting back to the running back position for a second, Deuce, he made the final roster. We've been talking since last year about his role and how you can use it. Have you defined how you can use him and get enough touches for him to justify him?
Well, I mean, definition. I think like anything, if you watch, you all have been here. You look at the way we train players. Deuce is one of the players that was trained, both as a receiver and a running back this past off season and training camp. He missed some time there at training camp. So yeah, we're trying to expand the value of all these guys, and this is an example of it. But now it comes time to game planning and how he fits into that and create those opportunities.
Mike Todd with ESPN. With CD, what have you noticed since he's gotten in the building, and how quickly can he get into team stuff?
CD's jacked. It's great to have him. I mean, he walks into the room, with that big smile. He just lights up the room. So I mean, it's been awesome having him back. But this will be the first real test as far as workload capacity. We've been in the last 2 practices have been very, very light in nature just because of the setting and open to public and those types of things. Obviously, we weren't going to do anything last 2 practices that were going to be involved in Cleveland. So today's our first opportunity to go get it and start the real preparation for Cleveland. So he'll take more reps today than he did the last 2 days for sure.
You mentioned that he's jacked. Did the size kind of catch off guard?
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, just knowing that he's put on the weight and he looks great. I think he looks great.
Was he a guy who needed it a little bit to handle more bumps and bruises, or?
He looks great, Todd, that's all.
John Machota with The Athletic. When he wasn't doing the 7-on-7 stuff, him and Brandon Cooks were off to the side. Do you anticipate Cooks doing more today, or is he still kind of going to be limited?
He'll do a little more today, yes. Just being smart with Brand. Also, Zach Martin's in that same category. We're just being smart with these guys. So,
John.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Rico Dowdle, he's been battling health issues the last couple of years. Last year he was pretty much healthy. How vital can he be to this running game?
I mean, he's going to have opportunities, and we tend to forget, Rico's, I thought he was an excellent special teams player too. So, he'll have a lesser role in special teams just because of workload focus. But yes, he's a complete running back, plays all three downs. I think his pass protection from his rookie year to now is, it's become one of his best assets.
Scott.
Tyler Dixon with the AP. You talked about timing with CD. CD talked about timing. Does timing come back a little faster when you've got CD and Zach have spent so much time together over the years?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think that's part of the growth, and I think you see the production, where it went last year. So yeah, definitely. But we just got it's more about the wrinkles that we've changed. I mean, he's aware of them. He's been in touch with the video and during the time away. But now just being here, those are the things we're focused on. Just make sure we get those reps.
Saudis at The Athletic. When it comes to John Stevens, you guys talked like last year that he was on path to make the roster last year before his injury. Now that he is here, do you envision certain areas of the field that he has a higher role, or what do you see his role in this team?
But Phil, I was going to make fun of you. No, yeah, I'm only going to put him in on a 20-yard line, but going in. But yes, I think you're talking red zone, obviously, which is obviously he's such a big target. Definitely like the way he's grown. But I think when you get into these moments, because now, you got to pick your 48/49 with the third quarterback. How does that all fit together? So he definitely has done some really, really good things in the passing game. But special teams, that's really the area he has to really focus on, because that's what a lot of these decisions will come down to. But yeah, I'm not looking at him as just a situational player. If you look at training camp and particularly the fundamentals, the drill work, the combination periods, we'll have one today with the 9-on-7. I think he's done a much better job in the inline blocking. So I am very happy with the progress he's made.
Dave.
Babe Lofberg, Cowboys Radio. Mike, you said during camp you have to make adjustments when the draft class comes in, and understanding that's an ongoing process. But when do you get a feel for, the draft class and what they can and cannot do?
Well, I think really the way this thing's shaping up, I think we'll have more contribution from our draft class early than probably in quite some time. I mean, our draft class has been very mature. Communication skills, just the way they've exerted themselves. Going back to the off-season program, I've been very impressed with them, and they're going to have some opportunities here early. Starting in Cleveland. So I'd say, when do you know? I think clearly when you get into camp, you get into the padded work, particularly these practices we had at the end of camp. You could see them, taking the steps. So now it's for real. But yeah, I think when we get to the end, a couple of years down the road, I think we'll look back on this draft class with a very positive review, because they're off to an excellent start and they can sing. So.
That's actually a perfect segue. Thanks for this, baby. Mike, Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. Keeping to that question, losing Deron Bland for several weeks, obviously that thrust Caelen Carson into the driver's seat at that position. He's had an exceptional camp, but can you talk about, from a coaching perspective, what have you seen from him in his first off season that fuels the confidence that he's ready for day one?
I'll say this: consistency, because really every opportunity, not only at corner, but look at his special team reps too. Every time he's been given an opportunity, he has shown early that he belongs. It was never too big for him. Love his instincts and ball skills. So it's one thing to have them, but then when you start getting your hands on balls in practice and PBUs and things like that. So he's just done a really good job, as which you always look for in young guys, because their reps are with the ones are very few in the beginning, but he's produced every time he's given a chance.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Mike, over the course of the offseason, your interior D line now looks a lot different with Linval Joseph, Jordan Phillips, Mossy Smith in year 2. How much growth have you seen kind of at that position, considering it was kind of an area of need entering the offseason?
Well, number one, body type and experience. You know, I mean, since I arrived here, it's something we've talked about, you know, at length. Just the body type in there, and you know, just looking at those guys. I think our linebackers, I've never seen them smile so much, you know, in the run periods. But yes, I mean, those guys bring a wealth of experience, and it's, you know, I think it's definitely going to help us, you know. And also, I love the fact that, you know, the experiences they bring in the locker room too. So you can see that already, just with their personalities. So, real excited about those additions.
Joe.
Joe Hoyt, All City Dallas. Kind of building off Dave's question as well. Tyler Guyton's got moved up here the day after he visited here. Obviously, looks like he's progressed really well. What did you kind of learn in the pre-draft conversations with Oklahoma and other places to kind of indicate that he would work this hard and progress this fast?
Well, the Oklahoma visit, you know, particularly when Mike Solari went up there, just the feedback, you know, from the coaching staff about the progress that he made and the comparables, you know, to other great tackles that they've had up there. You know, that really kind of stands out to me. As far as, you know, the information going into the draft, and that's held true. I've been very impressed, just the way he's, you know, come in here, and he's been very diligent. He's, you know, takes good notes. You know, just the little things. We all see what he does every day on the field, but you know, he's doing the little things, and that'll make a big difference.
Aaron
Kazan, Lone Star Live. Mike, Dalvin Cook is a 4-time, you know, Pro Bowler who's going to sign to the practice squad. I know the practice squad rules changed a couple years ago. What have you noticed about guys like that who are so accomplished, but then accept the job of not even being on the roster?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a new era for us, frankly. I think the practice squad, you know, expansion is probably the best roster development component that I've seen in my time as a head coach. I think it makes a world of difference. Number one, it gives players, you know, another opportunity, whether they're coming off an injury or, you know, just the other circumstances that lead into this. So makes the teams better. It's obviously better for the players. I mean, I love it, you know, and it's not looked at as, oh my God, I'm a practice squad player, and that's, you know, that's not the point. And it's, you know, frankly, you know, when we get to this first day where we have everybody in the room, you know, we had 75 players in the room. I tell them the story. You know, I've been part of one Super Bowl champion, and when the night we passed out the rings, 77 players received rings, and that's what it takes to win a championship. So you can shake it any way you want. You know, 53 you're on the roster, 17 practice squad, your IR guys coming back from IR, but they all contribute. And this new practice squad, for me personally, I think is a tremendous tool in the development of young players, because you get to practice, you know, better than you did in the past. You know, you get to stay in the mode of 9-on-7 drills and things like that, because you're in numbers. Because when the numbers are short, and you got 53 players in 6 practice squad, your whole practice starts, because now you got to really watch the reps, particularly in your perimeter players. So I mean, there's just so much that goes into this, and I think the tools like GPS and sports science, and you know, the injury information you're given, this all contributes to a better, healthy path for every NFL team, in my opinion, just with this new setup. But you know, for a guy like Dalvin, who, you know, we know is super accomplished in this league, you know, whatever's happened in the last couple of years, I mean, this is a great vehicle to get back in it, and I'm happy he's here.
Did you have something else, babe?
I did.
Yeah.
Mike, getting back, you were talking about Caelen Carson and, you know, ball skills and all. He didn't have an interception in his last 2 years at Wake Forest. So can you teach a guy that? And obviously, I don't want to comment on a man's body, but he's got 8.5-inch hands. Mm-hmm. Is that part of?
Yeah, I'm just going off of really, you know what Al saw and his, you know, his instincts. I mean, he's a very instinctive player. So I mean, you know, we project a lot of things. You know, I mean, Cooper Beebe didn't play a whole lot of center. I mean, he's doing pretty damn good right now. So, yeah, I think that's all part of the evaluation process. I think it's part of what you're looking for in a player. And, you know, I think the way he's performed just in the short time he's been here is a reflection in it.
All righty, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
We're going to gather our stuff and start heading over to practice.